our Sprint Cup with NBC Sports app and get closer. You have additional camera angles, driver stats, track information. You can watch live anywhere on any device. Find out more at NBCSports.com/live. Mike?
Well, Denny Hamlin back in the garage after making his first run. Speaking with his crew chief, Mike Wheeler, this morning, the plan for this particular practice was, as he said, just to get the car to drive right. Well, it didn't sound like over the radio Denny was too happy with the way the car's driving at this point.
Yeah, it's like wrecking loose. It feels like the right front is falling down. I don't know, but it's very, very weird.
He also added that he felt like the shocks weren't exactly hooked up. So far, what I've seen happen here in the garage, they just worked on camera adjustments on the left front and the right front as of this moment. Just trying to get this car a little bit easier for Denny to drive, guys.
And when he uses the words wrecking loose, he knows exactly what that means. Because yesterday in qualifying, this is what it looked like coming out of turn 4.
Sideways, nice save. Just had to give up on the lap at that point. So obviously cost him in a qualifying session.
Denny Hamlin ends up qualifying 17th. First time he had not advanced to the final round of group qualifying. Marty?
Rick, 8-lap run in the books for Joey Logano, and a lot of people pointed to this 22 team as probably the best in race runs, along with Kevin Harvick yesterday in race trim practice. And a lot of people were commenting they're a little surprised how slow the racetrack is on that first run. That's a comment that Joey and his team had as well. I asked Todd Gordon, his crew chief, before this practice session, what are we really going to learn in this session? He said, I actually think you're going to learn a lot, because tomorrow is going to be cloudy and cool as well. We're hoping the rain stays off, and we believe it will, and we'll be able to get this race in fine. But another cool and cloudy day tomorrow, so they think they can learn a lot. But so far, the 22 very happy on an 8-lap run. Might make a little bit longer run when they go back out in a moment.
Is this a must-win situation for Carl Edwards, who had a wreck at Martinsville, finds himself 32 points behind the 18 of Kyle Busch, who's currently 4th in the chase point standings?
I think it is, unless a lot of other people have troubles too. And to be honest with you, that wouldn't completely surprise me. This chase has been, in my opinion, defined by people having trouble. You know, it's been amazing how many wrecks, blown engines, problems that chase drivers have had. So I don't think without help from other teams they can advance their way in this many points back. But we know a win would fix everything.
You know, we've had a lot of domination by these chase cars. Surprisingly, though, Rick, we have one chase car in the top 15 in practice, and that's Joey Logano. Edwards all the way down in the 22nd position. There's only 2 chasers in the top 20 with Jimmy Johnson at 16th. I know it's only a snapshot of one fast lap, but it's just really surprising to me that they're all clumped down, really, the second half of the run.
Marty?
You guys remember Carl Edwards really had one of the best cars here in Texas in the spring as well. He and Martin Truex Jr. and Edwards in that race team had a penalty late in that race, and that's why they were not able to go to victory lane. And then you fast forward to next week at Phoenix. Remember that close finish he had with Kevin Harvick at the end of that race, finished 2nd there. So there's a lot of confidence in the 19 camp at the fact they're running at Texas this week, Phoenix next week, that they can get that must-win. And they agree, yes, they are in a must-win situation. But, you know, Jeff, when you go to 2 racetracks you feel very good about, certainly helps the situation.
Yeah, it certainly does. Confidence is a great thing. You led 124 laps here in the spring, ultimately finishing 7th. But, you know, confidence is great as long as when you unload, everything's good. You know, if you're still off on speed, it doesn't matter how confident you are. But I think for this team, what we haven't seen with this team is race-winning speed, you know, as of late. So they're just going to have to find some speed. They got to find it quick. There's only 2 races left in the session.
You mentioned confidence. I don't think there's a bigger confidence boost than what we saw out of the 3 team in Austin Dillon yesterday in qualifying. Winning the pole. First time that RCR and Austin Dillon had won a Cup Series pole at Texas Motor Speedway. So a big boost for this team, who was in the chase, was eliminated after the round of 12. Austin Dillon still searching for his first win in the Sprint Cup Series. 2 drivers that got their first win at this racetrack, Dale Jr. and a guy sitting to my right. Jeff, you got your first Sprint Cup Series win right here.
It's pretty cool. I like it.
Big win for you.
It wasn't.
Started.
They're all
started
big
ball
wins.
rolling.
The first one is, I don't know, it feels like the biggest.
Right behind the 3 is the 1 of Jamie McMurray, who's started this practice off with looks to be completing lap 25. So 25 lap run. We talk about a lot of things about this racetrack, but his fast lap is a 29.10, basically a low 29-second lap. His 25th lap was a 30.50. So basically a second and a half of fall off over 25 laps. And that's why you run 25 laps. Because you don't come to the garage, you don't cycle tires. That's a great read for Jamie McMurray and his crew chief on where he feels his car will be over the long run. They then can make adjustments. The fact that he's running 25 laps and now going to practice pit road entry right here on old hot tires, that's a really good use of practice time in my mind, Jeff.
Yeah, and this team started to do this every week. This has been part of their plan for the last several months, is go make a very long run. They perhaps are running more laps at one time than anybody else on the racetrack, so fits into what they're wanting to do. Another team that's starting to impress, and you mentioned it last week, Steve, and we've started to see it. Todd Parrott came on as a crew chief on this 95 car, and since they have shown some speed. Now, I'm not saying they've shown race winning speed, but they have made a major jump in class on who the people they're racing with. And in this first practice, Michael McDowell in this 95 car, they're in 6th place. Now, think about who they're in front of. They're right ahead of Chase Elliott. They're ahead of Logano, Biffle, Johnson, Kenseth, Edwards, all the Chase guys. Starting to see some major improvements from this team.
Yeah, all of the Chase guys. They're in front of all of the Chase guys right now with Michael McDowell. So obviously looking impressive. Mike.
And you got to give Michael McDowell a lot of credit, especially when you consider the determination he has shown behind the wheel. To illustrate that, let's just think back to last week, a very warm day at a short track in Martinsville. We didn't even realize until after the race, when he went to the care center, he was brought there on a stretcher, that he began that race with symptoms from pneumonia and strep throat. He was extremely dehydrated at the end of the race. I was able to speak with him after he left the care center at least an hour after the checkered flag. He was in good spirits. He also had burned feet, yet he performed at a pretty high level considering all that, and finished the race. Back behind the wheel here this week, still recovering from those burned feet, but over the dehydration for sure.
Well, that new crew chief in his rig, Todd Parrott, 31 career wins. 2 of them came here, so he knows how to get around Texas.
A lot of experience on top of the box as you look at the best 5-lap average from this first practice.